Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Youth Ministry Tips Podcast. My name is Eric with a K, and my friend Scott Tinman here is joining me today live from Estes Park. Is that how you say Estes?
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 Yeah.
Estes?
Yeah.
I thought it was Estes,
Sure.
but then I heard somebody say it differently. Anyhow, Scott is going to talk about some really great stuff for you today. He's got two tips he wants to talk about. One game and one tip on relationships with your lead pastor.
That's it.
Right.
All right.
So, Scott, tell us a little bit about who you are and how we know each other.
All right. So I'm Scott with two T's. There are some out there that just do one T, but
Yep.
I go with the two. And actually, I got to know Eric with the Simply Youth Ministry IT3 team years ago, and we stay in contact and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually from the Midwest in Ohio. In Northwest Ohio, it's a town called Findlay, Ohio, just south of Toledo. And I've been there now 11 years. Just started my 11th year as a student ministry pastor. And so I work with middle school, high school, college age kids and love it. I've got one wife and
That's good.
yeah, it's good.
It's a good number to stick at.
Right. 3 boys. My oldest is 25. I have a 21-year-old in college, and I have one more at home. He's 16 and a sophomore in high school.
So you still know what's going on in your own home with youth ministry stuff. So, Scott, I love how your brain thinks. Your brain thinks differently than mine does, and I've so much enjoyed staying connected beyond, because what we did was we worked on at this youth ministry conference together on a leadership team, and the fact that we get to stay connected, whether mostly through social media and the occasional spots like this. I'm just so thankful for. So you got a game and a relationship with the lead pastor. Let's talk the game first.
All right, game first. So if you're looking for an active game and you have bandanas and different color bandanas, we started a game called Kingdoms.
Kingdoms. Okay.
Right? And so this is kind of like a takeoff of Clash of Clans, but in like a multi-purpose room, if you don't, or you could do it outside or whatever it might be. And so you have different teams, and they are divided by kingdoms, and they wear a bandana on their right side, left side, whatever side you want to pick it on. And it has to at least go down to the knee. And it's kind of a combination of flag football, but without the football.
Okay.
So you start the game, you start in the different corners. Your kingdom is red, yellow, blue, whatever bandana you have. And then your job is to go around and pull the flags from different people. And if your flag gets pulled, you have to sit down and you are now out. And so it's last kingdom standing. But here's the little twist. If you want to get back into the game, if someone runs by you and you pull their flag, you become that, even if it's not the original team that you started.
So you are part of the new team.
Yes.
Okay.
So it kind of could flip around and things like that. And so important key on this one. Guys and girls playing at the same time. Make sure that it is on the side and not on the front or on the back.
That's a good idea.
Good pro tip there. Also, make sure that you make it clear to girls and boys that they are consenting to having a flag being pulled. Yeah. Because, you don't want to have that phone call from a parent saying, hey, my daughter and my son got touched somewhere that they shouldn't have gotten touched. So
right on the old hip.
Yeah. But it is one of our favorite games. We probably play it 2 to 3 times a month because as our group gets bigger, it's harder to find games that serve a large group.
Okay.
And so this is a
great
fun game.
I love it. I love it. So that's super simple. All you need is some bandanas or leftover T-shirts from your last 4 camps.
There you go.
You did,
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you have a pretty great relationship with your lead pastor.
I do.
Talk about that and how can our listeners, our viewers, adopt that into their own ministry? Because I think every person in youth ministry, most every person in youth ministry, when they go to a church, their hope is that they're going to have a good relationship with the lead pastor. Mm-hmm. A lot of youth pastors are disappointed because lead pastors often are just hiring someone to take care of something they don't want to take care of,
Yeah.
or there's tension or whatever.
And I've had some of those bad relationships with senior pastors in the past where they worked in the background to, get people against me, and then all of a sudden I'm out of a job. So I've had those type of experience. But at this church that I'm at, it's very interesting. Actually, when they were in the hiring process, I was about, 43 at the time. So if you do your
I'm doing the math.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of old.
You're old.
Yeah, not as old as my friend Mr. Bill, but
No.
getting close there. Anyway, he actually passed on my resume because he thought I was too old to be a youth pastor. And yet, one of the elders said, hey, we should take a look, and it all worked out.
Yeah.
Interesting, I hold this, I give him a hard time from time to time on this, because there was a time after I'd been at this church for a while that we were starting a new campus, and there was talk, hey, should Scott go over there? And he actually said his daughter was just coming into the youth group. He's like, I know you can do this job, but I want you to be my daughter's youth pastor.
Yeah, that's great.
So, so he's younger than me, but yet he knows the different passions that I have and the different gifts and abilities that I have, and he appreciates it. And so we have a really good relationship. We talk all the time. We're friends.
That's a big deal.
But it's not like we're hanging out together all the time.
Yeah.
We have similar interests, and we talk about things. He's a Michigan fan. I'm in Ohio, and I'm an Ohio State fan, and so we have some banter back and forth on that with sports and things like that. It's very interesting. Like, his parents come to our church from time to time. They're from Canada. He's a Canadian.
Okay. Yep.
So he says sorry a lot.
Sorry.
Or about.
Sorry.
Yeah.
About.
But anyway, his parents, like, they text me, like, when I preach and things like that, to be an encouragement. So
Wow.
it's just been something that you have to be intentional in fostering a relationship with your lead pastor, and being able to have his back when people might be talking about which way the direction of the church is, or things that they don't like, but yet he has my back whenever there is something that might come up about the youth ministry. Why are they doing things this way? Or and he's a supporter of us.
That's awesome.
And so being able to foster a type of relationship with your senior pastor, I think, is very key, because you're working together as a team.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that he's always said to me is, Scott, I know the way that you build teams, and when you go away on vacation or things like that, I don't have to worry about the student ministry, because I know you've built a team of leaders and discipled them, and that everything is going to be okay. Like 5 years ago, I was actually given a sabbatical, and he didn't have any worries about that.
That's
so
awesome.
I was gone for, 7 weeks, and he fully trusted. So I think it's, some tips for that. Build that relationship with a senior pastor. Encourage your senior pastor. Being able to, tell him when he's doing a good job, whether it's in a sermon or the way he's leading a team, whatever it might be. Grab lunch from time to time, whatever you can do to have a good relationship with him, because you're working together. And so, he's over the whole entire church, and I'm over, student families and things of that sort. So our ministry lives cross paths quite a bit. So we can work together in collaborating, rather than he does his thing, I do my thing. Let's hope everything works out.
So be intentional, support. I think that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
You being supportive of your pastor's vision and direction. Because I know that I've heard over the years youth pastors kind of talk snidely about their lead pastor. And I'm like, well, I'm not surprised that their relationship with the lead pastor is not really healthy, because nobody's perfect, right? But that's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody, kind of wrapping up, what would you say to somebody who maybe it hasn't been a great relationship? What steps could they maybe take couple of real practical, quick steps that they could take moving forward in a relationship with their lead pastor.
Yeah. Don't take it personal. So one of the things that I think is very valuable for me is like if I have an idea that I'll bring to the senior pastor for something, he can take that and he might say, yeah, we're going to do that, or he might not. But don't take it personal because he's thinking of it from a different perspective. And the other thing is maybe over time he'll realize, oh, that is a good idea and I should do that. And that happened recently when we were doing a search for a worship pastor. I was saying we should use a search firm for it. And he, no, we can do this. And then finally it came back. He's like, I think you were right on this, Scott, and thanks for being patient. So don't take it personal when he says, yeah, not right this time.
Yeah.
It's not like they're saying your idea is junk, trash. It's just like he sees it from a different perspective, and he answers to the elder board and so forth. And so being able to have thick skin with that. And then, if you're not having a good relationship with your senior pastor, is there something that you've done, or is there a way that you can take that first step? Don't wait for your senior pastor, or don't have the expectation from your senior pastor, oh, he should be calling me up to take me out for lunch, or things like that.
It's the concept of leading up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So look for ways to lead up, and
That's good.
Because you still can be an influence with your senior pastor and the direction of the church. You might not. Don't worry about not getting credit for it, because I'm not worried about, hey, this was Scott's idea, but is it going to advance the church in what your mission and vision for the church is going to be?
Great.
So.
Dude, thank you so much for being on here.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. Now, if you haven't already gotten it, speaking of games, that was a great game idea. I'm going to steal that. If you want a free ebook and an audio book to go along with it on games, talk about why I believe you should do games in youth ministry, a bunch of low prep, no prep games, and 15 best practices for running games that helping you to explain the games well, to make sure all of your students and your leaders know how to do the game and make them the best possible. Click the link in the description below, and I will send you a free copy of both the ebook and the audiobook. And we will be back again, same time next week, every Tuesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Thanks for checking out the Practical Youth Ministry Tips podcast. Have a great day. See you.
See you.